Right now we have sun till like 9:30, almost 10 o'clock usually.
Yeah.
This time of year.
All right.
Oh, I forgot artwork.
Yes, important. Hi, everybody. This is Patrick from 8 Questions With, along with our special guest, Angela from Morbid Heart Designs. You are catching us in our little bit of our pre-show. So if you're in the chat, hang back. We'll get the show started shortly. And thank you for showing up. We're going to have fun because I have questions. Boy, do I have questions.
I'm looking forward to all the questions. Let me dig out some of my originals that are in the closet.
Okay.
I totally spaced when I was doing con prep that I should leave some prints out, and they're all ready to go.
Ooh, look at me. Look at me straight on now. Yay, me. Oh, my God. That is a lot different. Oh, all right. Fun.
I found some prints in the closet. Yay! All right, I think that'll be good.
All right. Seriously? All right. Oh, woohoo! Midnight hour in the house.
Right.
And you can already tell it's Hobbs because he brought us pumpkins.
Pumpkins. Yep. It's almost going to be spoopy season soon. It's going to be here before we know it.
Actually, tell you the truth, the spooky season has already started.
It's always spoopy.
It is. Well, it is where Josh is concerned. He already dropped the first Halloween video of the year.
Ooh.
Yeah. For him, every day is Halloween.
Every day is Halloween in my world. I got skulls, mermaids and more skulls, and werewolves. Right. I like people who it's Halloween all the time. They're my peeps.
I'm going to be able to do what Phil does, but I wonder how many times I'll be able to do this without before Facebook gets all goofy. He promotes himself really well, his live streams, but he's able to drop his in the my instant messenger, and I always wonder, like, how does he not get in trouble for like overdoing it? Mm-hmm. It's my big thing, I don't want to do that. So, but he's able to get away with it.
Are you done eating, Grimmy Pants?
All right.
I'm going to go put the cat bowl away because now I don't need to supervise the other cat stealing her food. Mandy, thank you for not stealing your sister's food. Thank you for only eating your food today. How is everybody's evening that's in chat so far?
Yes. It looks like like Hobbs says, Halloween is every day to me. He's not kidding about that.
Isn't that why some of us have horror-focused channels too?
Yeah. The cheetah is he's actually downstairs catching a little sun. He's enjoying the late night summer heat. Here we are, Man of Movies, also known as the Cinema Squad. They had their debut show yesterday.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah, they were doing they're anticipating the 5 biggest movies yet to be released in 2021. And we discovered that we both have a great distaste for Venom. We're sort of comic book geeks too.
I'm hoping they'll do better with the second one. It wasn't a terrible movie, but it was not as violent as it should have been for Venom, in my opinion.
The problem with Venom, is the fact they can't do his origin story, and his origin story is so interesting, but they just can't do it. It's too big. All right, we're trying to share it ourselves out. We're starting to share. Okay, we're getting some heads here. I'm starting to see some people show up. Just feel free to come inside the chat room and hit that thumb button. Give us a like. That's right. So let's see. We're getting. Oh, okay. Wow. I think people are going to show up. I think they want to hear us get going in a couple of minutes, and then they'll pop up and say hi.
Do you have a Twitter, Patrick? I don't recall if I know I'm following you on Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram and Facebook and
Okay.
YouTube are my 3 main platforms. But of course, it's very hard to share out on YouTube itself.
Yeah, that community tab is amazing. I cannot wait to have that myself.
Yeah, I think that you have to hit 1,000 for that, though, right?
I try not to look at the numbers because I feel like it's always changing.
Yeah, it already changed on me. I last weekend I got because I interviewed Kevin K from Tuber Chat, and so I got a ton of people saying yay, subbing, and then but I knew they're all going to disappear. I knew there were, so I didn't get too excited about it. And sure enough, it disappeared down to 253. But then I got one back today. So Hobbs just got the second vaccine today. Watching the Devil's Gate. Had an old woman talk to me about shingles and how I would never want them. Yeah, I heard that's a really bad chronic. I can do that. Have Cheetah Will View is it's a takeoff of an old TV series from the 1950s called Have Gun Will Travel, which starred Richard Boone as a man named Paladin. And Paladin would go around and hire himself out to help solve other people's problems. So he had a business card, and the business card said, Have Gun Will Travel, Wire Paladin, Carlton Hotel, San Francisco. So when I saw the show, I saw Paladin. I said the next animal I get, regardless, I'm going to name Paladin. So that's what happened. So it's a takeoff of the show.
Internet, Mandy.
Oh yes, okay. Well, now I know. Wow, what's your cat's name? Mandy.
This is Mandy, and then we also have Grim after the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And when I get a dog, the dog's going to be Billy.
Oh, that's a beautiful.
So then cat. I have all the cartoon characters. Huh?
Does he talk a lot?
She is just 8, so the answer is going to be no.
No, not much of a talker. Oh, okay, yep. So here we are. Venom versus LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton. I vote for LeVar Burton.
All right, boys and girls. Well, thank you for coming to 8 Questions With. This is an ongoing new series, sort of new. This series started out from my blog, The Inner Circle, and we had over 130 interviews there before I decided to take it over here. And tonight's guest is Angela from Morbid Heart Designs. And how about introducing yourself to everybody, even though you probably know everybody already?
I actually don't know everybody so far. Hi, Godiva Club. That is a person I do know. I'm Hobbs Horror, I know. But about me, I am an artist. I do YouTube, Twitch, trying to be more consistent with TikTok, but that's already a lot, as many of you content creators know, 2 platforms, adding a third. It's a little bit of a much, but I sell my art online at conventions, markets, art walks, art shows. I have a heavily horror-focused portfolio, but I consider myself rainbows and death because I like Halloween and skulls and macabre and serial killers. But I also totally dig unicorns and mermaids and fairies and glitters and rainbows. So I do a lot of cute art like this.
Oh, that's
The main reason I Morbid Heart Designs is I take a heart stencil and then I make horror characters out of it in different ways. Trying to do this from a camera is definitely challenging.
Oh, we can see him. It's spectacular.
So some of these are old. This is like from 2017, but he was from 2020.
Oh, wow. Now, is that, what are they, Norway?
This one?
Yes.
Or it's that... Jaws.
Oh, Jaws. Okay. He looks very happy.
He is happy. He likes to eat things. Like, sharks killing people isn't necessarily bad for sharks. They're getting dinner. So they're happy.
Well, what does it say was it Dora or Finding Nemo? Fish are friends, not food.
Yes, that is it. That is a quote that I regularly say in my house. Is you can see my fish tank behind me. I love the aquatic creatures.
Hob says they're spectacular.
They are spooktacular.
Trademark pending on the name for Hobbs, by the way. So tell us a little bit about your background. So, like, if people didn't know you at all, what could you share with us a little bit about yourself?
I am type 1 diabetic, and I have a medical device telling me my blood sugar might be getting low, so I'm just going to give you a heads up. I might have to run and grab some fruit snacks, but I just ate, so I'm a little bit confused, so just as a heads up on that. As far as my background, I'm a self-taught artist. I got really depressed and didn't do art for a long time, and I realized that was part of the reason my mental health was not good. So I started building my company while working full time to be able to get out of that grind and do my own thing. I don't regret it.
No, it sounds like you're doing very well for yourself.
I'm doing the best I can with COVID. How's that?
Well, that's going to roll into another question. How did COVID affect you? I mean, how did it affect you, during your business and your creativity?
I'm fortunate as a creative that I don't get creative block. I literally have lists of ideas. I have too many ideas and not enough time to execute them all. So it's sometimes more a matter of motivation. Do I want to do it today? Do I want to paint, draw, color, sketch, practice, edit videos, things like that? COVID definitely made things hard as an independent business owner. My income's like 90% from events. So with COVID, no events were happening. Everybody was trying to get sales online. So it was really hard to get traction. As far as online sales. So it's been challenging. I am fortunate my husband works in an essential job, so we've been able to be fine. I do know it's been a lot harder for other creatives who've had to move in with family or other things. So I feel fortunate for my situation, but it hasn't been easy for a lot of independent creators.
Okay. All right, we got a few more heads here in the chat. Hello, Cabin 6. Hello, John. Hello, Michelle. Welcome to 8 Questions With. And we're talking to Angela from Morbid Heart Designs. So, was there anybody else in your family that's artistic? Is this yours, or is your family? Did anybody in your family also like sort of inspire you?
My mom did a lot of crafts growing up. She even did craft markets. I wouldn't describe her as artistic, though. There's definitely a difference. She was creative. My father played the banjo, so there was some of that involved. But for the most part, no one in my life directly does anything creative. It's just how I've always been. I've always liked to draw and create some things. I did cosplay for quite a few years. It was a really good creative outlet for me. And I technically designed my first cosplay when I was 7, and I really wanted to be Winifred from Hocus Pocus. Like, I drew it out. I was like, how can I make the book? So my parents just always encouraged me to explore and do what I wanted in that aspect.
That's awesome. I mean, it's one of the questions I ask a lot of people when I do the interviews like this. It's like, because most of the time it seems like if they're creative, someone in the family was too. And more often than not, despite you think that both parents working hard and raising a family and whatnot, they still had time for artistic. They either encouraged it or they had it to sell, and they supported it. So, so what inspired? Okay, let's go there. Let's go here. What inspired you into becoming an artist?
That's a hard question to answer because I technically always wanted to be an artist in some way. I either wanted to create movie sets, design movie sets, costumes. At one point, I was accepted into art school to learn how to do 3D animation, but I couldn't afford that on my own, out of state. Like, anybody who's looked into college knows there's a lot that goes into it. So I had to make the choice to stay home in my state or try to go to California. And I chose the way I knew I could actually afford to pay for college, since I had to do it all on my own. The easier option. And that was the wrong choice in a way, but I also learned a lot and grew a lot as a person. And ultimately it came all around, and I'm doing a version of what I wanted right out of high school. I can't tell you what made me want to do art in any fashion, because it's just been something I've wanted to do like my whole life.
Right. So you were just, when you were growing up, it just basically the creative fire got hotter and hotter, so to speak. Doing your own thing. Well, that's cool. I mean, it's 7 years old for doing your own cosplay outfit. I mean, that was ahead of its time. Now today,
I designed it. I didn't get to execute it. One day I will be Winifred Sanders, though. One day.
Did you save your drawings though?
Not that one. I did recently, with moving, find my sketchbook from middle school. That was really fun to find, and I had a teacher who really encouraged me with art and saw a lot of potential in me, and it was really fun to find the note from her for the final grading, like the goodbye.
Let's see, in the chat we have more people coming in. We have Phil's here, Phil's PP Vids. Welcome, Phil, and Spotless Com. Hello, Spotless. Thank you so much for showing up. That's awesome. Hobbs is having some fun. I see donuts in his chat, so I mean he's being entertained. He has a question though.
Yes.
Oh wow, he says, do you do merch designs? Could you make something out of pumpkins? Or he wants a design of pumpkins, knives, and tomatoes. That's a good question, and we'll save that for after the chat, because that's something that you guys can talk about, and you can do some little bit of business. Because I think I know where he's that question, and I'm interested in that too. But I think that's business related for sure. For sure. Wow.
I
Yeah. You know
almost
what?
forgot. I'm supposed to be sketching while we're talking.
Uh-huh. Well, maybe you can sketch a pumpkin there.
I was
Oh,
gonna
oh,
sketch Michael Myers. That's what came up in Twitch stream is to
okay.
do. So unless if you guys want me to do a pumpkin, I'm totally cool with. We can sketch out a pumpkin.
All right. How about the chat? How about the chat? What should Angela draw? Should she draw Michael Myers or a pumpkin? I'm voting right now. I'm voting for a pumpkin. Otherwise, Hobbs would kill me. So I'm voting for a pumpkin. So leave your answers in the chat. Okay. The pumpkin from Phil.
Pumpkin.
Pumpkins. I think pumpkin's going to carry the day. You already know Hobbs is going to say a pumpkin too. All right. Come on, everybody, vote for pumpkin or Michael Myers. And
No, I guess that's 3 pumpkins so far. So that's
okay. So I got a question now. It's funny. It's a perfect you picked that up. Okay, Kappa. How about both in the same picture? That's what we got. When you got another one saying both. That's a lot. That's a lot. You guys.
that's a lot. We can see what happens. It might have to go more cartoony than realism, but we can see what we'll see what happens. How's that?
That's really interesting. We're talking about this now because this is a perfect segue to my next question. So walk us through a typical day of your creative day of Angela. So here it is. You wake up in the morning and you are in a creative mood. So walk us through a day. What's your process?
First of all, don't talk to me until I've had coffee.
Coffee is our
That's my
friend.
rule.
See, this
Coffee
is why I picked you to interview because I knew you love coffee as much as I did.
Coffee's essential in my world. Usually what I'll start doing, because I hate social media personally, is I will start off my day with the thing I hate the least, so the things that I don't want to do, which means checking messages, emails, some of the administration type of stuff, because there's a lot to do. And I guess it kind of depends on the days. Since I do streaming and YouTube, I have to have kind of a focus on each thing every day so I get it done. So Mondays, I usually focus on editing YouTube videos or TikTok videos. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, I try to stream, but sometimes business stuff gets in the way of doing that because you've got to think of designing your art, warm up before you do art. It's important.
What do you mean by warm up?
Exercise.
Like
getting your muscles going. There's a lot of different exercises that you can do, just moving, getting the flow of things, loosening up, practicing. So like if you wanted to do a fox but you're not sure how you want to do it, sometimes it just helps to start drawing foxes and then you get an idea of where you want to take the piece. So warming up, my goal is to eventually do that live on TikTok, but I also don't really want to do TikTok, so that's why it's like on the back burner of everything. But that's where everything's going. So as a business person, you have to always be aware of trends and where platforms are changing or getting focused and shifting. So Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, I'll try to do prep for my streams so I can do just the art focus and the completion of it on stream. I've learned construction of a piece, sketching out a piece doesn't work very well. It loses people's attention mainly because I focus so much on building things and getting the line work right that it's not enjoyable for people. So I have to do that kind of prep off stream.
You see your social media more as a business tool than something you'd like to do for fun.
I do not do social media for fun. I look for events to sell at on social media. I discuss commissions on social media. I don't need it in my life. It's not something that's ever made me happy. So it's just a tool.
Okay. Now, how long does your day last? I mean, when do you have a set start time for you to do your art? I mean, is it like a 9 to 5 type thing?
No, no. If you're ever in self business, it's never 9 to 5. Some days I work 6 hours, some days I work 12 hours, and I have put in recently a 14-hour day on Saturday. I got into an event last minute, so I had to go in before everybody and set up my booth. The event was from 9 to 7 p.m. I got there expecting a 6-foot table. I ended up with a 10 by 10 space, and that meant the next day, since it was a 2-day event, I had all this space that wasn't used as effectively as it could, and I was shifting from con prep mode to this event. So then I had to pull the inventory that was new that I didn't have time to with getting in last minute, make signs and adjust things there. So that ended up being awake from like 6:45 until midnight, just to wake up and go earlier to adjust my booth and stuff. So it really depends on the day. I don't have set hours. It's whatever needs to get done. As the only person who does everything, it just has to get done.
Right. That's what I was gonna ask you if you had a set pattern or 4 day. So it's basically.
I wish. I'm trying to fit exercising and taking better care of my body into my schedule. I actually did get to go for a walk today. I was very excited about that.
Yeah, something actually I'll be doing after this. I'll be getting up and going for a walk. I should have did it before, but I was doing my own prep, so I get that. That's good though. Since you're a working artist, how do you promote your work? I mean, what's the best way you found to promote? Like you mentioned the different platforms, but are there specific communities or groups or fellow artists that you talk with to communicate with, fellow people that do conventions? I mean, how do you promote yourself?
Everything and every chance. If I'm scrolling through social media and I see a post that says promote your artwork, I'll jump on and share something. Word of mouth has been really helpful as far as commissions and events, and my neighbors being an asshole and their car is really loud. Just one moment. I think they're gone now, so I don't know if you could hear me or not.
Yep.
I don't have one set way of promoting. TikTok is purely as a possibility to reach a new audience, but I consider YouTube as an opportunity to share what I do, my process, and hopefully gain interest. And I look at Twitch the same way. I have a chance to create art on a platform that I enjoy doing. I love creating YouTube videos. I do really enjoy streaming. So it's kind of like this positive combination of everything. I get to have company while I create art on stream, chance to meet new people, get interest in what I do. So I look at it as every opportunity really as a way to promote myself, because that's how fortunate we are with the technology that we get to use right now.
Which platform do you think is more artist friendly? I mean, there's every platform has different strengths and weaknesses. So if I'm a creative artist, which one would you recommend is best? You would think that maybe YouTube would be, but
I would say
not.
Instagram is definitely visual art friendly. I have more of a following on Instagram as a visual artist than Twitter, because Twitter's like word art, if you will. So it's very different personalities that are attracted to the different platforms. I would put Twitch as more friendly for artists than YouTube. As many of you probably know, YouTube comments can be very toxic at times.
Yeah.
And Twitch has more control when you have moderators who can help keep out complete jerks. You have a lot more control over your community, if you will. I mean, you can block on both platforms, but my experience on Twitch has been very positive. The community over there is always excited and welcoming, and you can join as an artist and get all these people to come support you, and they want you to succeed. There's definitely camaraderie out of the people I've met over on Twitch.
Yes.
As
So
far as the art side of thing, I'm not accepted in the art community here on YouTube, so it could end up being like that, but I just don't know because the horror community has welcomed me so amazingly versus the art community. I don't think they even know I exist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, honestly, I've seen a few artists, but I have not necessarily seen the same community as I've had community. I know they're out there. I just haven't, I just haven't seen them. I haven't seen them bond like in the horror community yet. But then again, I'm still like looking in.
That sounds very similar to me because I follow both communities. Since I'm a weird hybrid, not hybrid channel, I don't know what I am.
No, I think that's a fair assessment to call yourself because you walk in both worlds. I think it's probably the best. That's probably the best way to get your art out there or whatever you're doing. You have to go into different communities for it. So let's talk conventions because this is going to be a little bit because this is something you and I touched about before.
Yes,
and have a great deal of interest to the chat because everybody here in the chat loves conventions and they love going to them.
They're so much fun. If you're an extrovert, man, you haven't gone, you need to get on that as soon as you can.
Conventions will be coming back this summer, and in fact, you already been very, very busy. So tell us a little bit about some of the events you've already done before we start getting into the pros and cons of it. You've already done a few. You're prepping for one right now.
Yeah, I have the first convention in well over a year at this point, coming up this weekend, and I'm super excited for it. I started doing conventions 2018 on my own, but helping a friend in 2017, maybe 2016. So I got a really good grasp about how things work by assisting my friend with her art booth. So I've done everything from dark markets to conventions to crafting events. I have my first street fair coming up, which I'm really excited for, and they've got the permit and everything with COVID. I've done big conventions. I've done Rose City Comic Con. I did get into Emerald City Comic Con here in Seattle, which is huge. That was very heartbreaking to get in as a first-time applicant, which is like very rare. And then literally as the event's supposed to happen, COVID affected here, and it was literally day by day by day up until the day of the event, whether it was going to happen or not. So I was in heavy prep mode for that, and then they had to cancel it. So
now I heard a term in there I've never heard before, so I'll ask you about it. What is a dark market?
It is a place many of you would really like. It's heavily goth-focused groups, very macabre artists. They're usually done at like goth clubs. I've done a few that are not at goth clubs as well, but they just like the macabre, the black art, the horror art, bones, occult, witchcraft. Like there's a mix of all the awesome shit that I love there.
Now is that in your city or is that in like down the coast? And how far do you go to conventions? I mean,
Dark markets are in a lot of different communities, so there might even be one where anybody in chat lives right now. Like I know of some in California, I know some of in Ohio. Like every state seems to have it. It just depends on if there's a community who wants to put on the event. As far as traveling, I have tried going as far as Chicago. It was not successful for me. I think I jumped the gun on it, but it's kind of like sometimes with business, you fail fast to learn fast. So that was my 2019. I've done shows in Oregon, all over Washington State. Maybe I'll go to Chicago again in the future, but that's too far right now based off of my experience. I learned a lot, met a lot of awesome people.
Right.
But with everything, I don't feel comfortable investing in out-of-state events right now until we know more about what the new normal is going to be. I have a lot of Oregon events I'm interested in trying again, maybe in 2022 or 2023. So that's not as far as I'm willing to travel right now.
Doomsday Kingdom has a comment about convention and promotions. He says, I think right platform is big. For me, YouTube has been good, but Facebook for me has been the best platform. I think any platform that works for individual goes a long way. Yeah, I agree. That's totally not every platform is for every discipline or community or group. Some are better than others. So conventions, you and I, like I said, we talked about it a little bit, and that they're coming back after basically a year and a half of hiatus. And my opinion about conventions should be, they should really, for the first year, they should try to make it as customer friendly and vendor friendly as possible. I don't necessarily think they should charge. It looks like you said, your vendor, your convention that you're doing this weekend, is it this weekend? The one convention they gave you an extra day. Now that's amazing. They gave you a free day. They gave you a free day to sell. Just
Do you mind if I put their link into the chat?
Put what?
The link for the convention in the chat.
Oh, no, yeah, let's do that. I keep forgetting I have to do that.
That was like one website I didn't pull up. So I'm doing Washington State SummerCon this year. It's their third or fourth year. They did 2 days events originally, and last year was going to be a 2-day event, and this year was going to be their first 3-day event. So it's a very off-season convention for Washington. It's heavily cons in the fall and the spring. So to have something in the middle of the summer is exciting for us here. So what they did is everybody who had signed up for 2020, they rolled us all over, and instead of charging us for that extra day, they just grandfathered in the price we already paid and gave us that free day. Anybody who knew, obviously, is probably not going to get that deal that we did, which I thought was really awesome of them to do, not make us pay more and just hold over our money from our original investment until now.
So they worked with you to make sure that you're having the best chance of success. And I just feel like that's the way it should be for this first year. I don't think conventions, I don't think it's in their best interest. And I do believe that customers, guests, fans, whatever, I do think that they will be taking notes of this, of which conventions are maybe lowering the prices down to make it more affordable for families to come out and enjoy the festivities without being charged a normal arm and a leg. And there's some that don't. They're tone deaf. They're charging high prices. They're still charging massive, you still want a celebrity picture or whatever, or they're still charging high prices after the pandemic. And I just don't think that's
there's
smart.
Some business things that you might not be aware of that they have as well. A lot of the times the celebrities are actually determining their prices, and the venues have a heavy influence on things as well, just to put that out there.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are in a rock and a hard place. I mean, I've had one convention that got rescheduled that ended up canceling altogether again, but it got rescheduled on the same weekend as another event. And I was fortunate enough to get most of my money back. They just said, since, we don't have any access room to take a loss, would you be okay with just paying the transaction fees? I'm like, that's cool with me. I'm getting like 95% of my investment back. So it's like they have to take that into consideration in their business. When you get a refund from a business, you get all your money back. that company still has to pay transaction fees. So it's a hard balance for everyone, and I thought that was a fair solution that I got most of my money back.
I would agree with you on that. I agree with you about the celebrities. Really, I do think they're play part of it. They're playing a part of it too. But for a lot of them, unfortunately, some of them, the conventions are their life. So they have a hard time, sitting there and saying instead of be asking for $90, it's maybe asking for $45 just for this one year, just for this one convention. It's just like you said, it's a rock and a hard place. I do think though they can make up for that. Maybe the celebrities are still charging their prices, but I think if they if they lower their prices, I still think they can get a bigger crowd. Because now most of these conventions by the summertime they're going to be full strength, right?
I think it's going to depend on the state that everybody is in. I'm going to have to pause this conversation. I'm sorry. I need to go grab some sugar so I stay alive. My body's trying to kill me.
Sure. We'll just talk. We'll just keep busy in the chat until you get back. Okay, so I shared Angela's website out, or her channel out. If you have not connected with her, please do so. And please, just please share this stream out to your friends and fellow fans. She's a great guest, a great artist. So, I appreciate everybody showing up here. Hobbs, you mentioned about the Ohio is all about the spooktacular. Yep, that's for sure. Whorehound weekend September. I will be there and we'll be partying. Okay, okay. So they had rescheduled Whorehound. That's awesome. Ohio will sell out. Yes. Akron. Okay. Did you send me or did you send Angela an Instagram message? Doomsday. Oh, great haircut! Thank you. It's the same haircut. I just got a stand for my phone, so now I'm looking dead into the camera instead of looking down like I had before. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Looks like everybody's excited for the conventions that are coming back. They're all mentioning it.
This is my happy dance.
Yes. Are you feeling better?
It takes a minute. I feel fine, but I have hypoglycemia unawareness. So, welcome to my life. I have to also balance this into my busy life. But that's the nice thing about being my boss is I can give myself a few hours and then pick up where I was at.
Wow, thanks, Wow, Nightwatch came over from his own
live stream. Nightwatch.
Yes, he just came over for their own live stream. I left them a message where I went up because they're doing Tom Atkins, horror icon. Adrienne Barbeau. They're doing Adrienne Barbeau, and so I went over there and said hi, and then I made a suggestion. If they could do a show on Stephen McCatty, and because he's an underrated horror icon. Wow, thanks for coming over tonight. Really appreciate it, brother, so much. That's awesome. All right, we got 11 watching us now, but we only got 9 likes. So hit that thumbs. It'll really help the stream, help us all. So if you could do that, hit the thumb.
I even liked it, and I'm here.
Yeah, well, you should like yourself because you're awesome.
Thank you.
So what do you think, Angela? I mean, based on what your reactions so far, you've already had a few conventions already. Are they going to be able to bounce back at full strength? Do you think it'll be happening like sooner than later, or you think it's going to take a slow build?
I think there's definitely a push for slower than later, but unfortunately, there's going to be some cons, especially smaller, newer ones, that aren't going to make it back. The big conventions like Emerald City or PAX, who have big companies like ReedPop behind them, they're going to be fine. They probably were able to get government assistance, but smaller conventions, like one of my favorite dark markets was hosted at a bar. That bar is gone now because of COVID. So it's it's heartbreaking to see that go. It was a pillar in the goth community here in Seattle. Oh shit, I don't even know if any of that's public.
It's okay.
I don't know if any of that's public, but I just found out yesterday the market's not coming back. So it's just an example of small things that are completely community driven might not make it back if their venues are gone. They'll have to try to find a different way. So they might not fully be gone, but it's going to be harder for them to bounce back.
How has it affected your other artists? Do you guys network with each other about which concerts are coming back and which ones aren't?
We artists 100% support each other. So we're always talking about events and things and who we think might be successful, like throwing out suggestions. I guess at least with my friends, I've been very fortunate to make some awesome, stellar friends. Now I lost my train of thought. Welcome to my brain that you don't get to see in the well-edited formats of YouTube.
It's okay. You're among friends. Yeah.
So we do support each other, and I just met a new person in my town who just moved here during the pandemic, like I did, and it was really fun to bounce back things to him being new here that to consider, keep an eye open for applications, and he did the same thing, even though we literally just met each other. So that's just an example of how supportive a lot of the community is.
That's great. That's so. I mean, that's what I mean. Some artists probably didn't make it either, did they? Out of this, I mean, some of your friends probably just didn't make it.
I have a lot of friends who haven't given up on their business, but they've had to, take a job that they were able to. It's different for everybody, but there's a lot of people who have to put their business on hold just to survive.
Right. Okay. Yes. That's what I see. Well, okay. Let's go at a little bit more positive angle with our convention talk. What have been some of your favorite experiences? Some of maybe 3 or 4 experiences that just make you smile.
The first one, when I met my husband, I did a body paint photo shoot at Emerald City Comic-Con. I was friends with the photographer, and so was he. So I was asked to model, and he was asked to be a bodyguard. So that was an amazing experience all around to have one of my dreams come true to be body painted. And then to meet him, and I was I didn't want a relationship. I was like, fuck all this shit. Sorry, can I swear on your channel? I have a sailor's mouth.
Fuck yeah.
I forgot to ask.
Nope. Yeah, we cut loose here.
To meet him was really amazing. One of my best friend, her and I got into cosplay and met through that. Being able to be a steampunk Disney princess with her was amazing. There's so many.
What princess were you? What princess were you?
Snow White.
Oh.
Snow White. I love that costume. Remind me before the end. I have a picture a friend printed out and had the photographer sign that I can share with you.
Okay.
It's just not in my office.
And so you did the body painting. That must have been a really surreal experience, right?
Oh my God. It was.
Was it out in the? Was it public or was it closed?
It was fucking cold. No, when was it? March in Seattle is really cold. So I was freezing my ass off, but it was an extremely liberating experience as someone who grew up in a very conservative religion. To feel comfortable literally out there the way that I was and learn to love myself a lot more, but not only learn to love myself, but learn to love other women and their experiences. I remember seeing crusty Girl Scout mom faces, and I was like, wow, I used to be you. I used to do that, and you don't know in that moment, if it could be a first time experience or a liberating experience for somebody, to possibly try and take that from them and not respect that that's their choice, that's what they feel comfortable doing. So it just made me learn that maybe when I feel judgmental towards somebody, I should take a big step back because I don't know everything in that person's life.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Not quite where I expected this conversation to go, but that's where we went.
Yeah, well, it's all it's all explains how your process works. I mean, everything here all plays into your art and your creativity, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your single worst experience? Because everybody's got to have at least one.
Chicago Wizard World 2019, driving halfway across the country under the assumption that this is a huge convention, not a dying convention. I made good friends. I got to eat Chicago-style pizza. But that was a terrible convention experience.
No, you didn't. Bad location, bad tables.
I was by the food court. I should have been golden, but there was like, I hardly saw any con attendees. Like maybe 15,000 through the entire side of the convention center that I was at. They talking to other vendors, they definitely have some lack of retention of people coming back. So that's something that convention center should address, or that convention should look into. But that's not my business, so I'm not going back.
Red-headed Riding Hood. She said in the chat, she goes, "Hi, Morbid Heart Design. I've been listening and loved that last statement."
Well, thanks for popping out of a lurk to share that. It's nice to meet you as well, Red. Red's going to be easy for me to remember.
Yes. Yeah. She is also a creator. She's a poet and a writer. So, yep. So she's very artistic too.
I bow down to writing artists because that is not my skill set. All of the cards I sell are blank for that very reason. I am not a wordsmith.
So for your convention, take us through. Okay, it's like tomorrow, right? Oh, it's going to be tomorrow. You're setting up for Friday.
Yeah, tomorrow is the setup. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday con. So first you got to get in and know your booth space and then decide how much you're going to bring. Are you going to get new product? If you got new product, it often involves packaging and putting it into your point of sale system, whatever you use. This is kind of the boring part of things. There's lots of planning. Sometimes you even set up a table and go, all right, let's try something different. Do I like how this looks? I just got new buttons and magnets in, so I had to decide how I'm going to incorporate that into everything. But I'm fortunate that I have a corner table, so I really don't know what I'm going to do. I'm literally going in tomorrow, setting up. I'm giving myself the whole day, and then I also have Friday before the convention to go, none of this is working. I have to start over from scratch, but at least everything I need is there.
You see me, I'm putting Angela's YouTube channel in the chat. That's why I keep pressing it. If you haven't connected with her, please do so. If you do connect with her, please watch one of her videos of 3 minutes or more and leave a comment. Otherwise, YouTube will come by and clean it out. So if you do connect with her, please leave a comment and watch a video at least 3 minutes. It will help her tremendously. If you have any questions about any commissioned art or whatnot, I'm going to be sending out her. I'm going to be doing her main website, which I shall do now.
Which I do have a commissions form on there. I'm redoing my website right now, so that portion might be subject to change because I'm not sure I like how slow it loads. But there's a form you can fill out, and then it goes right to my email. And I do have a few spots open right now. I've got a few commissions that I just got. I usually keep 5 slots available, so I have 3 right now. Because that's how you could manage yourself. It's important to not take on too much. But one of them shouldn't take more than a week or so. That I'm excited for that one.
How long does it usually take you to set up? I mean, what time do you usually get there? And is it just you setting it up, or do you have an assistant? Does your husband help you?
Sometimes my husband helps me. I've gotten to a point where I can, if I haven't added anything new, once I've done it a few times, I can usually set up a 10 by 10 space in about an hour. My normal table, 30 to 45 minutes, depending on if I get distracted or if I organize my bin correctly and can find what I need. So I can set up and tear down pretty fast now. It's taken a lot of practice, though.
Right.
And since tomorrow I have a corner booth that's 8-foot table and an 8-foot table, I have 16 feet of table to figure out with. That's why I'm giving myself all day tomorrow, because this is a first. 16 feet of table. It's a lot of space.
It's a lot of space. Now, is that just solely you, or did you find someone to come in and help you with it?
I will be doing it myself, because sometimes my communication skills suck, especially when I feel overwhelmed with the stimulus of a convention area and setting up. So I'm like, I'll just go by myself.
Okay, so let's go back into a little bit of you and your creativity, because I want to do that. So, what is your most difficult part of painting, and what is the most difficult part of painting, and what's harder for you to do? I mean, what's harder? What's discipline is harder, painting or drawing, like you're doing now?
Painting would be harder. I have a patience issue, and paint takes time to dry, and depending on which medium you are doing or what stage you're at, you need things to fully dry. There are many times I completely mess up what I'm doing because I get too impatient, and then I have to figure out how to salvage it or start over.
Yeah, because I don't think you can use. I don't think do painters actually use heat lights, or do they just let it naturally dry? I've never seen heated, heat inside of a studio.
I'm so impatient. I only have a hairdryer for art. I don't use one for myself. I literally only have this to dry art.
So and how does it work?
It's just a blow dryer. Just plug it in and press it on and just move over where you need to. So
how well does it work?
It saves me a lot of patience and waiting. The nice thing about doing art on Twitch is when I have to wait, I have people that we'll talk to. We could just do something fun or something different.
Right.
But when I'm by myself and I'm doing a time lapse and I'm not doing it on stream, I'm like, this is just time I have to edit out or remember to hit record, which I've done many times, not remembering to hit record when I decide not to record. So I record no matter what I'm doing, from when I sit down to when I stand up, because I have lost many moments of time lapse.
Let's see.
And that's one reason I don't do oil paints at all, is I don't have the patience for that.
So you're mostly into drawings and pencils then, right? And
I do almost everything. I do a lot of what you will see on my channel is alcohol-based markers. I've recently been really enjoying watercolor pencils, which is basically putting down watercolor pencil and then you wet it and it's magic and it goes poof. I'm fine art now. It's amazing. But I do ink, digital, and acrylic painting and colored pencil.
So, in other words, you're a multimedia artist.
Yes. Some of my ink work is behind me. That's one I did for my US versus Japanese ring review.
Oh, that's really cool.
The glass glares on my fancy ass lights. And then I did the lighthouse, so you guys can't see them. I also did the lighthouse. I did 7 pieces for that review because, 7 days. I thought it was fun. So that was a really long video to make.
Right. That is very pretty. What do you guys think? Let's get an update on how the Michael Myers pumpkin. Maybe she can share us a small update.
I don't like his face.
I don't think anybody likes Michael Myers' face. That's part of
I
the
don't like how his face is coming out, but the pumpkin, I got the pumpkin in too.
Okay, I can already see Hobbs is already trying to come through his screen to go get the pumpkin.
He's a cute pumpkin because even the scary people like cute things sometimes.
Yeah.
But he's got sharp, pointy teeth.
If I would have had more time, I would have had you drawn have Michael Myers in a pumpkin and have Michael Myers trip over the pumpkin. There's Hobbs. Hobbs is saying yes because he loves pumpkins.
Pumpkins.
Hello,
Pumpkin
Michael.
season.
How are you? Michael's Adventures is here. That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming out, Michael, and supporting our interview with Angela from Morbid Heart Designs.
Thank you.
I will be dropping down her main link, her main page in the chat, and her also her YouTube page is on there as well. If you scroll up a little earlier. All right. Now I already know the answer to this, but there is a part 2 to the question. You said you were a self-taught artist, and my question was going to be, did you go to school to learn how to do this? And do you feel like it's the best way to learn is to go to school? Personally, I feel experience is just as good as formal training.
Mm-hmm. So as a self-taught artist, I took classes in middle school and high school. I actually do have a master's degree, but I never took an art class in that entire time. Art school is, from what I have learned from many people, you put in way more hours of practice, which is true. I still practice a lot than you do class time. So it's not one that's easy to double major or work and go to school because there's just the homework is way more than any other program you can go into. So the nice thing about being self-taught is you have access to YouTube. There's community classes, which are a fraction of the price, and you can still get more of the structure if that's what you need. There's online classes. I have a lot of classes through a web platform called Udemy, Udemy. I've taken a character design class. I have an environmental design because I know where my art is lacking is the whole composition and story. So I have that class that I want to do after I'm done upgrading everything on my website. Then I'll have time for that.
Right. Now, can you explain some of the simple terms because some of us may not know it, like composition, environmental, and
yeah. So this would be considered a character bust or a character portrait. Adding the pumpkin added a little bit more environment to it, but the class I want to take focuses on the backgrounds. How can you pull in the backgrounds to make them realistic, fit in correctly with the angles, help it add to the story or the composition, which is the overall look of the piece. There's specific ways you want to try and design something to keep people's attention on it, or photographers use the same composition in their photos to make it appealing, to attract your eye to it, keep you looking at it longer. So composition is extremely important. You could do a piece and have it an inch off and it not sell, but then if you trim off that inch, all of a sudden it can start selling because the composition's improved and people like it. You don't realize how composition's evaluated even from a non-artistic brain.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Looks familiar to Corey Taylor's mask for all
It
hope
does.
from Slipknot.
Brian is correct. It does.
It's all right. I'd rather see Corey Taylor's mug looking back at me than maybe William Shatner. That's just me.
So normally when my blood sugar starts dropping, I stop doing art, but because we have a time limit, I'm like, okay, just keep going.
Oh yeah, do whatever is comfortable for you. I mean, if you need to take a break from it, that's fine. Yeah, I don't want you to draw yourself into any sort of trouble there.
It's just gonna not be perfect. It's a sketch. It'll be hideable, and you guys probably wouldn't even notice if I didn't say anything.
And this sketch right here is one that we're going to be giving away at the end of the interview to one of you. We'll let Angela pick whoever she wants to pick it out to. I will make contact with you, and we will get it. We will get it shipped to you. What's the one piece of equipment in your process that you can't go without? I mean, like the one thing you got to have.
An eraser.
Okay. No, really. Does that work on paint as well?
No. Paint's awesome because if you screw something up, you can go, okay, let's just do a solid layer of whatever base you want and start over. I love sketching, so erasers, I love building up a piece, so erasers are very useful in that stage, but they're only good with pencil.
Okay. So you just use the solid eraser to that helps shape the art too, right? I mean, you're not erasing it out. Maybe you're shaping the color of the actual piece, right?
Yeah, you can use it to add highlights, or you can't really fully take out a lot of mediums. There's always going to be a little bit of pigment, but you can add it to bring it down, to add a fade effect, highlights, fog, which would be taking out some of it. Mm-hmm. And Brian, the answer is type 1. I am type 1 diabetic, on an insulin pump and a monitor because life. And Hobbs, I thought about doing that, but I don't know if we might have time. I think we'll have time. I got this done faster than I thought I would. Practice makes perfect.
Okay, so where did you get your company name at? Morbid Heart Designs.
Because of my little horror hearts. These guys.
So
I like death and rainbows and sunshine, so I mixed both.
That's very charming. Now that people know that logo, do you make like little magnets and pins with that design on it?
I do not. I have stickers. And I put them on the back of my newer prints. Original prints, I don't have it on, but I put it on the back of my prints. I would rather give away a sticker to somebody than a pen, because one of my favorite things to sell is stickers. I have a sticker problem. I'm addicted to vinyl stickers. I put them on my sketchbooks. I put them on my water bottles. This one's new, so he's growing his collection. I put them on computers, tea planners. So the stickers are more of a good advertising to me because I have way too many designs. I keep adding more, and I really should not, but they make me happy, so I keep doing it.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. Brian's commented, says so's his mother. Hope the hump helps. My mother's on it as well. My mother's on it as well. It seems to control it better, but leaves her sugar levels drastically changing. Do you see the same? Seems there's pros and cons. So I guess she's talking about your
Yeah.
treatment.
Uh, Mine, I have had a slight improvement in my A1C. I've been on an insulin pump for almost 10 years now. I think I'm on year 8 or 9. But I definitely have very uncontrolled diabetes, and it doesn't matter what I do. My body literally is trying to kill me. That is the running joke in the house is I could do the perfect diet, the perfect everything, and then 3 days later I could be 3 or 400, which is really bad for an entire day, or I could experience lows that make no sense and I will constantly drop low. So
Who are your 3 favorite artists, dead or alive?
Brian Kessinger, he worked, I don't know if he still works for Disney, but he was a Disney artist for a really long time, and he does this really cute steampunk Victorian chick with her pet octopus, and I love octopuses, so like I love him. Classically, I really like Dumas. I love his ballerinas. Do I have another? I would pick one of my really, she's becoming a really good friend, Braden Duncan. She does pop culture kitties. She's a local artist that I've gotten to know over the years. I would definitely put her as one of my favorites just because she's the sweetest person and totally about building the community.
And she does cats, so that's a bonus.
Mm-hmm. So.
So what makes them all special to you? What drew them to you? Was it their style, their content, the depth of their work?
They're all so different. Brian Kessinger speaks to a lot of my passions because he also does a lot of pop culture type stuff. So I love steampunk. It's something I wish I had more time to have as a hobby in my life. So I really connected with him over that and my love for octopuses. Dumas always been one of my favorites. I don't have a lot of favorite classical artists. I probably would benefit from taking an art history class since I've never taken one, and maybe that would change, but I've always loved his colors, his style. His subject matter has always been very appealing to me, especially his dancers. And then Braden is just inspiring as a business owner to see her still grow and the amount of success she's been able to garnish for herself, and that she does what she can to help build up the community, like I said. So there's just so many aspects about her, just personally, how she's inspired me to keep going when I've had moments when I'm just like, I can't keep doing this, or I'm too frustrated or something. Just to help keep that I'm getting somewhere. I am doing the right things. I am succeeding. It just might not be the ideal of success that everybody wants for themselves, but I'm getting there. She's always good at reminding that.
If you could shadow one artist today, who would it be? If you got to sit there and watch them go through their whole process, what artist would it be? Would it be one of those 3, or would it be somebody else? Anybody you like?
It'd probably be Picasso. I actually hate Picasso's art, but his techniques are really interesting, and he was so different at the time. It'd be really interesting to see the behind the scenes of his process.
Oh, I gotta say this in the chat because something just happened here. Here it is. Yep, we got to do that now every time this happens. Papa's in the house, so ears alert. Papa loves rabbits, so it's all about the rabbits. So, how you doing, Papa? Thank you for showing up. Appreciate it, brother.
And yes, octopuses, do not forget, they are amazing intellectual creatures. And if you like sushi, please don't eat octopus sushi. Don't eat smart animals.
No. Yep. Ears alert activated. I liked a lot of the classic. I like a lot of the classic artists as well. Like I appreciate Picasso and Van Gogh and and some of the other ones. I mean, I have not been to a gallery in way too long. Rabbit ears. I think you just made I think you made a friend for life with that.
I
Derek
love the bunnies.
Derek
Bunnies
says,
are adorable.
Just don't eat Cthulhu. That's funny.
Don't eat Cthulhu.
What was the first piece of art you sold, and what did you feel about it? Can you?
Oh,
Now that should be a fun story.
The first art I sold was surprisingly fast when I got back into art. So as I mentioned earlier, with life and expectations and things, I didn't do art for a really long time. 2016 is when I started doing art again. My very first painting going back into it was the Four Seasons. I have some prints still available on my website, so I can find those while I talk. There are 4 paintings of the seasons. Are you going to look for me? Maybe they're not on there. Anyways, I'll finish the story and then I'll see if I can find it. And there's obviously 4 of them, and they're trees without leaves. And the whole thought process behind it was, even when there's death around us, especially in nature, it's a good reminder that life does continue and that the death actually feeds the new life with the decomposition process. So all of the trees are silhouetted and without leaves to have that emphasis. And one of my friends, actually a few people interested in it, she really, really liked it. And as soon as I put up the prints on my website, she ordered them, and the original purchaser fell through. So I messaged her and I was like, hey, I know how much you really like these ones. The purchase fell through. I wanted to give you a chance. Instead of the prints, would you just want to pay me the difference between what you have? And I'd give them to you. And they're still on her wall today. And she sees me. We don't see each other, obviously, very often with COVID right now. But every time she's like, they're still on my wall. They're still on my wall. So it makes me happy to know that they went to a friend who wanted to see me succeed right off the bat before I even had a company name or decided I wanted to do a business. So it's really... the support is touching, and they know that they're in a loving home. It's like when you give away kittens or kids. Not that you really give away kids, but my art, to me, the originals are like a kid because there's so much of myself that goes into them.
Well, they are
that
definitely.
It's a happiness that you can't describe when they I call it adopting. When my art gets adopted, it's like if I had puppies and you adopted a puppy from me.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense. I mean, it is a part of you, your process, your talent, whatever you put into it is part of you. I guess that's what makes it really precious.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's why art is so. I think it's why it's like people really appreciate it because of the because they actually see physically what went into it.
Mm-hmm.
And they appreciate it. Why is so art? Why do you think art is both popular, but also so subjective? I mean, it's a matter of it's like you and I could both walk in, see a Warhol picture, or a cubist,
Mm-hmm.
or a piece of sculpture, but we see it differently.
I don't know Well, as far as seeing it differently, like our life experiences shape how we see everything. So I've noticed, particularly like with this piece, actually, this was my first piece going into painting again. I'm never going to sell this original. The other one, the tree ones were right after that. Um, People who share with me what they've connected in that piece for often really correlates with the the purpose behind it, what inspired me to get out some of my emotions. I was going through a lot of self-healing, self-learning about it's okay to be rainbows and death, which growing up in a conservative community wasn't okay. So this was honestly my meshing of it's perfectly fine to be who I am and what I do, what I want to do, to have that duality. So a lot of the times when people will get it, they're like, it's me accepting myself. So it's really touching to hear that. But then other people don't even care about it because it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't seem to connect with them on the same level. But that's because their life experiences are relating to the emotions and everything that went into that.
Let's see. I'm going to throw down your website again. Got to keep putting that through. And let me pop in and dash over and give up your YouTube channel as well.
Yeah. While you do that, Red, thank you for liking the analogy. And Allschool, I apologize if I did not get your name correct. Gizmo is the best, isn't he? Everybody wants a Gizmo in their life, right? What conservative community? I grew up in Utah in the Mormon culture. I don't mind talking about that at all. It's heavily shaped a lot about myself. And there's things about it that still affect me to this day, living in that community for as long as I did.
Yeah, if you want, we could take a few questions from the chat. I should probably do that. If you guys have some questions for Angela, please throw them in the chat, and we will. She'll answer the ones that she can for sure.
Chia Pet Gizmo! Oh, I love it. I love it. I kill plants. I don't have a green thumb, so I cannot adopt a chia pet. These are the only plants that I don't kill because they're always in water.
Yeah, feel free to throw some questions up, and we'll have Angela answer them. Papa says, "Wow, you're really talented. Love the website.
Thanks.
I guess I got some shopping to do." And I gave you a rabbit sign. That's a good sign.
Bunny ears.
Yep. That's one of my favorite things now. Ears alert. I love it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and answer some more questions while you guys throw yours up. How big does it take? How long does it take you to build up a supply for a convention? I meant to ask you that earlier. It must take a lot to, especially running like a 16-foot table. How much supplies do you always have to work on building up to for a normal convention? Like how many pieces do you take to sell?
That is a balance I'm still trying to figure out, honestly, because it is different for every artist, and every convention is different because they attract different communities. I'm learning that Comic-Cons may not be ideal for my style of art, but I do really well at horror conventions. So it's a tricky balance to decide. I would definitely, if you're best selling, if you're looking at doing it yourself, I always track my inventory. I'm kind of OCD about it because I even though I've been doing this for a few years, I'm still a new business. So I'm still trying to figure out that balance of what people want and what I want to create, what they want to purchase. And I always go by what has been selling. If I've done the convention before, I'll go look at last year's sales and get an idea of the interest there and try to bring more of that stuff. And of course, my new stuff, because you don't know what's going to happen.
Now, do you draw for like do you have any new pieces for this year's convention circuit that you could show us?
I have new prints. I wouldn't call them new pieces. I did finally get prints of a lot from 2020 because without events, I wasn't going to do any prints. So it's a lot of older stuff. This one I wasn't going to do prints of, but I decided to do limited edition run of this one. The original is hanging in a collectible toy store for sale right now. So
that is cool.
I love him, and he's been a very popular sticker. So I was like, okay, let's do a limited edition run. I normally don't do prints this big. They're a pain in the ass to take places. So I'm really concerned he's going to get ruined.
That is really pretty.
So
that's
a new one. I'm also trying mystery bags with some of my older prints, but I wanted to do a little bit of a twist on them. And some of you who know my channel might recognize some of these. They were all time-lapse on my channel. I'm also doing limited edition prints of this piece. And they're only available in the grab bags for now, unless the grab bags are a flop. And then they'll be available for individual purchase. This one from Constantine.
Oh, that's wicked.
These are extras and display ones. And then my interview with the vampire piece is also limited edition through the mystery bags. After this convention, I'm going to put them on my website. If anybody is interested, they're not there right now since this is a test product. I'm like, I don't want to take the time to weigh them and write up the description and stuff and see how that goes. But these ones will be on there soon, as well as the Predator without a mask and the Predator with a mask.
Wow.
These also have stickers.
Oh, the blue. The blue just makes it pop.
That one was really fun to do with the vision, if you will. Queen of the Damned. Again, I think I did this one in 2019 on YouTube. So a lot of these are super old.
Those are all freehand too, right? You didn't draw off any picture. That came straight from your head and your hand.
Some of them, I used reference photos. This one I did base it off of mainly off of a cosplayer and tweaked it a little bit. So there's a reference photo that's almost identical to this of a cosplayer.
That's amazing.
Reference photos are really useful, especially when it comes to anatomy. So.
Wow, that looks so cool right there. I like the Predator. The Predator with the blue. That's outstanding.
The Predators are a lot of fun, and people like them more than I imagined they would. So that's always a pleasant surprise. One of the originals that sold from the Inktober series, I think her name is Amanda from Sosh, the one with the bear trap. That one sold, and I never thought it would sell. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to diss you want to adopt this, but I didn't think anybody would ever buy it. And it was like the second one to sell out of that Inktober. It was weird, and it has a happy home. That's all that matters.
Right. Papa's asking, when did you realize you could draw so well or so good? When did you know you could draw? I mean, you realized that you did have a talent.
I've been drawing since I was a kid. So early middle school, I've been drawing off and on my whole life.
Derek loved the American Werewolf in London, the Slaughtered Lamb. And Papa's he also says, and has there ever been something that you drew that you liked so much you couldn't sell it?
This thing right here. Original's never going to go anywhere. It's always going to be in my office. It's way too personal.
So everybody's really loving the art. That's awesome. Now, could you show us a little bit of
excellent taste?
Yes, they do. We have a very well informed chat. They're smart and they recognize talent when it's presented. Now, can you show us a little bit about your buttons and your magnets? I mean, those seem like something that the casual fan could go ahead and get.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me grab the magnets. Magnets are super heavy, as everybody could probably imagine. So I'm only taking the bare minimum with me because I'm coming home between days, so I can get more if I need to. So let me grab what I left here.
Okay. So these will be what she's going to be showing next. These are also available for sale. So if you like what you see, I've left several links to her YouTube channel and also her personal page. I also left her Instagram page in the chat. So, and I'll be leaving all that information in the description box below after I put this up. So you guys can come back to watch the replay and also possibly order some stuff off her website.
No, not all of these are on the website yet because I just haven't had time, but some of them definitely are. Don't ask me which ones off the top of my head. I don't know.
Do you have them numbered? Do you have them if someone wanted to buy one of these that you're going to show us now, could they order it by number even though they're not on the website?
Yes. If you wanted to message me, if you can't find it on the website, since my memory is not going to, I'll tell you wrong. We can definitely do that. I can start a list. Now, these will just be the magnets, but they're made by the same button maker, so they look very similar. Oh, okay. I don't want to use... I'm using the fancy pencil for this, Angela. You don't use the fancy pencil for anything but art. I forgot my own rule.
And yeah, we will go back to some more questions. I just want to have a chance to show the art. So in case you folks are interested in acquiring a piece of art, of course, you also know that it'll appreciate greatly after you get it. The more successful an artist becomes, like Angela is becoming, the more valuable and priceless it becomes. Mm-hmm. And you can actually pass it down as an heirloom.
Especially originals.
Yes.
So this first one, every Friday the 13th, I do a new design and sell Happy Friday the 13th cards. So I put this one on magnets and buttons. So this is just a sizing example. It is Hellraiser.
Oh, that's the picture I used for to promote the show.
Yes. Yeah. I was really disappointed with COVID and no events and whatnot. So I didn't get very many of the cards because I didn't know what was going to happen. But every Friday the 13th, if I'm not doing an event, I actually do a 13-hour stream on Twitch. So I have wrote on my calendar not to schedule anything else that weekend so I can do my 13-hour stream. Because I really like Friday the 13th.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. So you're on there to promote Friday the 13th.
Or do you have fun and do art and just hang out?
Okay. I thought maybe you went on there to do like a sale. The 13th, Friday the 13th sale, like a marathon.
It is a marathon, but and I say I have a website, you can buy things, but it's just more community based.
Right.
And fun. And then last year, since they've added the Prime Watch Party on Twitch, we watched a scary movie. It was not scary, but entertaining. So this was another Friday the 13th design, was the Addams women having a tea party.
I wonder if
It's one of my favorites, that one. Wow. I know these are not on the website, but I'm really excited about them, and they are newer on my YouTube as well. I'm working through the classic horror monsters in acrylic paint. So I've got Bride and Frankenstein.
Wow, that is
And
so
I'll have
cool.
prints of them as well, just small ones, because the canvas is so big that they're 5x7, because that was the only thing that I could get to still look good. I'm supposed to be writing down numbers. So Hellraiser would be 1, Addams Family 2, Frankenstein 3, and Bride of Frankenstein 4. But I know those 2 aren't on there because it wasn't on my old website.
What I'll do is
My
I'll come back and I'll put that I'll list that down in the description box as well, in case you guys would like to buy a magnet or a button.
So I do have different sizes of them as well. One of my favorites and one of my most loved designs is the ghost that you saw earlier. So
Oh
even
yeah,
though he's older, I had to get him on my new test product because everybody loves the ghost. I love the ghost. You probably love the ghost. Like,
yeah.
everybody loves the ghost.
I live with ghosts. Yeah, it's very pretty. It's beautiful. It is very charming. No, that's a pin and a magnet, right?
Yes, everything is pins and magnets. I have like small, medium, large. Not of everything. The button maker is also a local Seattle business. I love that I support a business and then it gets to move forward. So she gave me some of her old stuff that she's like, I'm getting rid of these sizes. So I just put them in your order. And I'm like, I feel spoiled. Thank you. Do I do logos? It depends on the logos. I'm not a graphic design artist, so it would depend on what you're looking for. I did design my logo, and I've done one other logo, so it just depends on your needs, Red.
Rick says that besides Cheetah,
Cheeto!
Rick says it says oh my, and he loves the ghost. So
The
that's
ghost is
great.
amazing.
Yes, it is.
So number 6 design of my new stuff is Hocus Pocus. This is one I didn't do a lot of prints of, but I'll probably be ordering more since I have stuff on consignment in a few stores locally. I did order a few things to get them new product when things started reopening slowly here. But of course, it's like, how much do I get as no business is happening?
Right. Doomsday says that after July he'll be buying a piece from Morbid, and I will definitely be buying a piece too.
Oh, I appreciate it, guys.
Yep, I will be definitely doing
Or
that.
gals and non-binary
I want
pals.
a ghost magnet.
The ghost is freaking adorable.
It is.
This is another one that I absolutely love. This is the Necronomicon. This is one I wanted to do for a really long time, and when my skill finally got to a point where I'm like, I can do it as a heart, I was so excited. So excited, because he was a challenge.
People are showing some love. The red thing like a red heart and a howling wolf. I'm sure you could probably commission that, right? I mean, you can draw.
we can talk more. That would definitely. I suck at handwriting, so as long as there's not writing, I can do it.
And Papa's throwing love, and Doomsday
Ghost
is
heart.
saying, "Yep, big heart." And Doomsday is saying you're a fantastic artist, and I agree.
Thank you.
Derek mentions Book of the Dead. That's very cool. And yep, guys or gals are binary pals. So tons
That
of
is
color
not my
hearts.
catchphrase. I stole it from another YouTuber I've been listening to a lot lately.
Okay.
And I'm like, I love you just because of your phrase. I will keep watching your content.
So I have a couple more questions here, and then again in the chat, if you have any questions, please throw them up, and we will get to them. So what do you do to make yourself a better artist? I mean, how do you improve
Practice.
practice?
There's a lot of different ways to be a better artist. As a self-taught artist, I never did a full anatomy study, so I thought it was definitely worth 2020 and having a lot more free time. I did a full-blown anatomy study, even down to the point of drawing bones and muscle structures and everything that it was in a class for that structure and guidance, so I knew what to focus on. So just it's really practicing and learning to critique and understand art. That way you know what you could improve on and what to focus on. Like I could still improve on gesture drawing and forms of movement for people. So that's something I actually practiced on my stream today after I got my makeup on, was just timed gesture drawings where you do a person moving to try and get that movement. It's something that I struggle with when I'm building a piece. You don't to see the struggles of deciding how to go about things, but just practicing, even if it's just one sketch a day, to understand the forms or to loosen up and free your movement. Just doing something sometimes is extremely beneficial to improve.
Um, what do you what is
The channel red is Obese to Beast. He is a fitness tuber. I would put him under there as a fitness influencer. So Obese to Beast.
So what has been your most proud moment as an artist? What's your one singular most proud moment where you just felt like you've arrived or you've been accepted? And how important is peer acceptance to you?
Honestly, I don't feel like I've had one moment of that I've made it. I have little moments of I'm getting there. But I have lots of moments where I recognize the success that I am creating for myself, which is a huge thought process shift from my old self where I was extremely negative and pessimistic. So I like to celebrate every positive step. Like getting my first website done was a huge step. Getting into my first convention on my own was my first step. Like not knowing somebody who'd be like, hey, I can get you in, kind of a thing. So I feel like I'm still experiencing those moments of I'm getting where I want to be. And I'm that kind of person that I'm not ever going to settle for right now is great, right now is good, I don't need to do anything. So with how I am, I'm always going to have those little moments to celebrate and be proud of what I've done and accomplished. So I don't have a one moment.
Okay, that's fair enough for sure. My last question for you tonight is one that I think is a good way to go out on. What would you say to someone who just now picked up a pen or a paintbrush or you know or clay or you know or rock? What would you say to an artist who just wants to start out?
Don't ever, ever, ever compare yourself to somebody else. You are on your journey, and your journey is at a different stage than possibly everybody else around you. The moment you start comparing yourself to others, you belittle what growth and success you are experiencing or developing at that moment. And oftentimes it will cause artists, potential artists, to be like, I'm done. It's not worth it. It's not for me. You are your own person and you will have your own style. So it's not worth comparing to anybody else.
That's a solid piece of advice. I can definitely go along with that. Um, okay, see the chat. Let's see if we got any questions. Looks like okay. Tell us a little bit about the convention you're gonna like the next couple of conventions you're gonna be at. I'm not sure where everybody's located at as far as geographically, so I'm not sure if anybody's near on the West Coast or not. So where's your next two conventions gonna be at or street fairs?
I am based out of Seattle, so a lot of my events right now are from Arlington, which is a city north closer to the Canadian border, down to just south of downtown Seattle. Well, Puyallup significantly farther. Don't try to spell that word. It's an Indian word, and I still struggle to spell it. So Washington State SummerCon is the one in Puyallup this weekend. And then I do have the Arlington Street Fair in July. I did apply for a little Pride event their first year in the town for the end of the month. I'm waiting to hear back from that. So fingers crossed, because I love my LGBT plus peeps. And I'd love to support a first event and get that going more often.
Now we'll take a look at our drawing and see exactly where our spectacular drawing is.
I hope that you don't hate me. I didn't put his hand in, but we've just got Michael with the pumpkin at your request.
I will let you, whenever you want to, Angela, you can go back through the chat and you can go ahead and pick out who you think should win, the best comment or best question or whatever. And then you could go ahead and let me know, and I'll let them know, and then we'll make sure they can get a piece of your art.
That is a hard one to do. I wasn't prepared to pick. I wanted to leave you the responsibility.
Yeah, but that's hard though. See, but I think you would be perfect to do it. Hey, Waffles is here in the house.
I cheat on stream. You enter a giveaway and I push a button and it goes magic. Here's your winner.
Yeah, well, I would pick Hobbs because Hobbs is like, he's the king of the spooktacular.
I'm leaning towards Hobbs as well. I was thinking because Hobbs requested the pumpkin and the pumpkin is there.
Yeah.
We'll give it to Hobbs. So yeah.
That sounds about right. That sounds good. He is king of like I said, he is king of the spooktacular. Trademark pending on the word spooktacular, by the way.
Spectacular. For those of you who do like my art, I do regular giveaways on my Twitch channel. Right now we're almost near a sub-only raffle to win one of the ink originals that I was showing earlier. And I do like my Sketchbox videos. I do those on stream and give away the art. So there's other opportunities if you want to follow on YouTube or Twitch to win some of my art as well.
That's awesome. I think it's a tremendous. That's great. I'm very happy with this. It's turned out so well. Thank you so much, Angela. I cannot begin to thank you enough for doing this with me.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to your community. You guys are all awesome. I was hoping to be able to keep up on chat more, but interview questions and chat and drawing, my brain is not that multifaceted. I think I need an extra lobe to accomplish what I wanted.
No, I thought you did fine. And we'll come back. And I didn't ask any questions about the other side of you, but I wanted to say that for a different interview, and that's about cosplay.
Yeah, we could do that in the future. I don't currently cosplay though.
No, but I'm thinking of putting together like maybe a couple of other art players, and maybe just come up and do like a little round table. That'd be
awesome. I did it for 8 years, and if I wasn't focusing on my art business, I'd be doing it still. So.
All right, boys and girls, thank you so much for showing up for 8 Questions With. Next week on the 23rd of June, we have Joshua Hahn will be here. He is a fine actor who's an action star. who's done some great things, and his star is on the rise. And he's done a tremendous short film, which I will be putting in the Facebook group called Odd Job, and it's a great short video. Of course, on the 24th, I'm actually going on the road. I'm going to the Night Watch Zone to discuss a Dark Song. We'll be talking about a Dark Song on the 24th. The 27th of June, I will be with Hobbs and Miss Boomstick and the Spices as we welcome Meredith Moeller to the Midnight Hour. It's also my first time hosting. And then on the 30th of June, we will be back here for actor Timothy J. Cox. And he is an amazing artist as well, a tremendous actor who's worked really hard and made some incredible films. So on behalf of my guest, Angela from Morbid Heart Designs, Paladin the Cheetah, and myself, thank you for showing up. And please share us out and leave a comment and a like button. Thank you and peace.
Thanks, everyone.